The WNBA just gave us one of those nights you'll be talking about for years. Not because it was a finals game, not because it broke ratings records, but because it was personal. The Indiana Fever walked into battle carrying more than just a game plan. They carried anger. They carried pride. They carried the pain of seeing one of their own, Sophie Cunningham, taken out in brutal fashion. And standing in their way, the Connecticut Sun, a team built on toughness, a team that thrives on intimidation, a team that thought they could push Indiana around. But on this night, Lexie Hull and Kelsey Mitchell stepped up and flipped the script. Indiana didn't just play, they fought. They didn't just win, they avenged. And now the whole league is asking one question: is this the beginning of a new Indiana Fever dynasty? Welcome back to the channel, Legends. You know the drill. This is the home for the WNBA's biggest moments, wildest drama, and unfiltered analysis that ESPN won't give you. If you love basketball, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Because today we're breaking down not just a game, but a turning point in WNBA history. We can't talk about this game without talking about what started it all. Sophie Cunningham's injury. Sophie isn't just a player. She's a mindset. They call her the enforcer for a reason. She's the one who protects teammates, who talks trash, who makes sure no one disrespects her team. So when she went down, black eye, limping, sidelined, it wasn't just a physical loss. It was an emotional gut punch. The Fever could have folded. They could have let the narrative run. Here we go again. Indiana can't handle the heat. But instead, they took that pain and turned it into fire. And when the schedule put them face to face with the Connecticut Sun, the league's bullies, it became the perfect revenge storyline. Now let's talk about the Connecticut Sun. This team doesn't play finesse basketball. They play power basketball. Alyssa Thomas bulldozes her way to the rim. DeWanna Bonner stretches the floor with veteran sharpshooting. Their whole identity is "we'll out-tough you." For years, they've been the ones delivering punishment. But against Indiana, something shifted. The Sun thought they could push the Fever around. They thought they'd break them down physically like they've done to so many teams. Instead, the Fever, fueled by Sophie's absence, pushed back harder. This wasn't just basketball. This was a culture clash. Here's where the story turns cinematic. Lexie Hull, a name most casual fans overlook. A player who's been called a role player, a grinder, a piece of the puzzle. But on this night, she became the face of Indiana's fight. She played like a woman possessed, diving on the floor, ripping the ball out of hands, taking charges, and then draining shots like she'd been waiting her whole life for this stage. It wasn't just skill, it was energy. Every play Lexie made felt like a shot of adrenaline, not just for her team but for the crowd. One play in particular summed it up. Late in the third, she ripped down an offensive rebound between two Sun defenders, got fouled, and flexed to the crowd. The arena erupted. That wasn't Lexie Hull, the role player. That was Lexie Hull, the warrior. If Hull was the heart of this game, Kelsey Mitchell was the dagger. Mitchell has always been known as a scorer, but in this game, she was more than that. She was the closer, the leader, the killer instinct. Every time Connecticut tried to make a run, Mitchell answered. Step back three, mid-range pull-up, drive to the rim, over and over again. She shut the Sun down. And the swagger? Unmatched. After burying a deep three in the fourth, she looked straight into the camera and smirked. It was like she was saying, "This isn't your league anymore. We're here now." That moment went viral instantly. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, highlight reels exploded. Fans weren't just celebrating the buckets. They were celebrating the attitude. And let's talk about that atmosphere. Inside the arena, felt like a playoff game. Every defensive stop was treated like a game winner. Every bucket was an explosion. The Fever fans, who've waited years for a reason to believe again, finally had one. Online, forget it. Hashtags like #FeverFight, #Justice for Sophie, and #LexiLegend were trending. One viral post read, "This wasn't just basketball. This was revenge served cold." Another said, "Indiana Fever just became my favorite team." Pure heart. For the first time in years, the Fever weren't just part of the conversation. They were the conversation. Here's the wildest part. Sophie Cunningham wasn't even on the floor, but she was everywhere. On the bench, standing, clapping, shouting, pointing, almost like an extra coach. Every hustle play, she was the first one up. Every foul call, she was barking at the refs. Every big moment, she was leading the celebration. Her injury may have taken her body out of the fight, but her spirit lit the fire. And her teammates carried that energy like a torch. For the Sun, this game exposed cracks. They're used to dominating physically, but when Indiana matched that intensity and then out-hustled them, the Sun didn't have answers. Instead of controlling the tempo, they got caught playing Indiana's game. And by the fourth quarter, they looked rattled. For a team with championship ambitions, that's a dangerous sign. Here's why this win matters more than just the scoreboard. Identity shift. The Fever aren't just Caitlin Clark's team anymore. Hull and Mitchell just proved they're a unit. A league respect. Beating the Sun means the league has to take Indiana seriously. Emotional fuel. Sophie's injury became a rallying cry, and that fire doesn't fade overnight. This was the kind of win that changes a season, maybe even a franchise. So where does Indiana go from here? If they can channel this energy every night, the hustle of Hull, the scoring of Mitchell, the leadership of Clark, the presence of Boston, they're not just a playoff team. They're a contender. And more importantly, they've finally found their identity. Grit, toughness, unity. That's how dynasties start. Chicago, New York, Vegas. Hear this loud and clear. The Fever aren't the pushover franchise anymore. They're not just Caitlin Clark's team. They're fighters. They're united. And they're coming. This wasn't just a win. This was a warning shot to the entire WNBA. So let's wrap it up. Lexie Hull and Kelsey Mitchell didn't just play basketball. They made a statement. They stood up for Sophie Cunningham. They stood up for their team. And they might have changed the trajectory of the Indiana Fever forever. But I want to know what you think. Was this game truly revenge for Sophie? Did Hull and Mitchell just prove Indiana is deeper than anyone thought? And is this the start of something big in Indiana? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe, because if this is the kind of fight we're getting from the Fever, the rest of this season is going to be insane. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.